My name is Frank Johnson.
My name is Abraham Lawrence.
And I'm Tim Goetz.
And we're without the professor today, probably the rest of this week. But our goal here is to describe for you the movie that is going on in our head when we read the Bible. Today is December the 5th. It's Tuesday, December the 5th. Episode number?
232.
232. We're in Israel's last days here in Genesis chapter 48.
I like what you did there.
What's that? What I did there?
Yeah, you said Israel.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, he is referred to as Israel here. Verse 2. That's where we left off. If the Bible's going to call him Israel, I guess I will too.
That's right.
Yeah. So Israel collects his strength. He sits up in bed. So obviously he's very weak. And according to Hebrews chapter 11, when he blesses Joseph's sons, he leans against his staff.
Yeah, probably just need that, like to support himself because of, his frailty. And just think about the guy's life, He's thinking all of these years that his kid is dead. He's mourning, He even says that his life has been miserable. Literally miserable is what he says.
Yeah, few days that were nice. Anyway, my movie is like he's on the edge of the bed and he's using the staff to like support himself because he's probably got it under his arm or something like that. I don't know, but no matter how you look at it, he's definitely not long for this world. And we're in verse 3 when Jacob says to Joseph, "God Almighty appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me." We remember that story.
Yes, we
Where's
do.
that found, Dave? Do you have that written down someplace? Just for our listeners?
Oh, no, I don't have it written down.
Okay, I'm sorry. I could probably find it too, but hey, it was something that we did talk about in the podcast. Verse 4 says, "And he said to him," or he said to me, God is talking now to Jacob, "Behold, I will make you fruitful and numerous, and I will make you a company of peoples, and will give this land to your descendants after you for an everlasting possession."
How many times have we heard this so far?
This is probably at least the fourth or fifth time, because he said it twice to Abraham. He said it once to Isaac. And now this is the second time he said it to Jacob. So at least 5. Is it more, Abe?
No, that's right. You're right on there.
Okay. Well, I mean, we've read it all together, so we should know that. I was almost thinking he said it 3 times to Abraham. It seems like there is like a third time there's an inference made. But officially he made it. I think it's Genesis chapter 12 and then again in Genesis chapter 18. But this is where we started the whole story when we started this Genesis. We actually started what's called the historical era of the Bible.
Yes.
Everything before Genesis chapter 12 is considered prehistory. Noah, the flood, Adam and Eve, all of that that happened before Abraham is considered not really prehistoric, but prehistory in the Bible. So and I wish the professor was here because he really can explain this a lot better. But he's like, we don't really even know the exact amount of years, even though there are people that believe they do. There are people that literally can go back and say, this was when Adam was created in the year 4166 BC. Okay. And Nick would argue with that.
Yes, he definitely would.
Yes, he would say because of records and everything, just because it says that this is their son, that might not have even been their son. That could have been actually their grandson or their great-grandson. Sometimes they skip generations. So he's just like, I don't know. We don't know exactly when, but pretty close. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I'm agreeing 100%.
And I don't even know why I brought all that. That was all free.
No, that's
free
good.
podcast knowledge.
That's good information because it's always referred to as before the flood.
Yeah.
And then they talk about everything else.
And then after the flood, yeah.
Yep.
So this is the after the flood stuff, yeah. So anyway, so this is just reiterating this promise that God has made to Abraham, because that's really who he made the promise to. And Isaac just happens to be the son of Abraham, and Israel happens to be the grandson of Abraham. So he says in verse 5, "Now your 2 sons who were born to you in the land of Egypt, before I came to you in Egypt, are mine." So everything we said on the podcast yesterday, so far Pastor Frank is doing, he's batting 1,000. His sons were definitely born before Jacob even showed up. All right. Ephraim and Manasseh, that's their names. You remember what that Ephraim means? To forget my family. Or forget the woes or whatever.
Yeah, whatever he's, just forget whatever.
But what was Manasseh? Because I don't
remember what that was.
My goodness gracious.
We need the professor here.
I know, because I missed that. But anyway, they were both named special. Something about God has blessed me or something. It seems like there has something to do with a blessing. I don't
Something
know.
of my blessing.
You can't talk that far away from the microphone, but
Okay.
it's okay. Ephraim and Manasseh shall be mine, as Reuben and Simeon are. So, in other words, these should really just be his grandchildren.
But he's actually saying, these are my kids. I'm gonna adopt them.
They're going to be just like Reuben and Simeon.
Yep.
So that means they're
Not just like, but
well.
we hope not.
He's not giving them a dissection kit anytime soon. But verse 6 says, "But your offspring that have been born after them, they shall be yours. They shall be called by the names of their brothers and their inheritance." So he's saying, what's he saying, Abe? Because I know you got a thing on this. So what's he talking?
basically he's saying that your firstborn kids that were born here, they're technically not yours, they're mine. But everyone after that is going to be yours. But this all has to do with the inheritance that he's going to talk to them about.
And that's what he's saying. It
Yeah.
all has to do with their brother's inheritance. And
That's why I'm glad Joseph didn't jump the gun when he heard him say that. Like, what do you mean they're your kids?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Verse 7, "Now as for me, when I came from Padan,
Uh-oh.
Rachel died. To my sorrow, in the land of Canaan on the journey, when there was still some distance to go to Ephrath, and I buried her there on the way to Ephrath." And the Bible even tells us, the writer of Genesis, which most people ascribe to Moses, that is Bethlehem.
Yes.
So Ephrath was what it was called, but it was later changed to the name Bethlehem. You know what Bethlehem means? You know what Beth means, right?
House of bread.
Right. Beth means house. Bethel is the house of God. Bethlehem, yeah, Lahaim, some bread.
Yes.
And the house of bread.
House of bread.
When Israel saw Joseph's sons, he said, "Who are these?" And Joseph said to his father, "They are my sons whom God has given me here." So he said, "Bring them to me, please, that I may bless them." Now the eyes of Israel were so dim from age that he could not see. So Joseph brought them close to him, and he kissed them, and he embraced them.
Man, there's a lot of kissing going on in this family.
Well, there's a lot of kissing, a lot of crying with the kissing, usually. So I don't know. He might be crying here in a minute. Now, this has got to remind Jacob, of what he did to his own father.
Yes, absolutely.
Because Isaac couldn't see either. And he was about to receive this blessing. And he's about to throw a curveball to Joseph, too.
Absolutely.
So all of this has got to be
full
running through his-
circle. Full circle.
Yeah, he's got to be thinking about all these things. This is what happened to me as I imitated my brother. And so he tells him to bring him close. And what was that thing we were talking about off the air this morning that I said, how did we miss that?
Oh, we were talking about Judah when we were referring to that.
Judah.
Yes, and his situation with his last-born son, he didn't want to give him, or he was dishonest about that.
Yeah. So I don't mind. We've only got like a couple minutes left in the podcast. Let's just cover that real quick because that was so interesting, Tim. You didn't hear this conversation, but we were talking about Judah. He had 3 sons, and they died. They married Tamar, and they died. And then so he gave Tamar his second because that's what he should do. And that dude, we all know what happened to him. We all remember that. He decided,
Yes.
I'll have relations with her, but no way I'm getting her pregnant. And he dies. And then does Judah want to give him his last son?
Not at all.
You're not getting him.
He just kept holding her off. He was just like, when he gets old enough, I'll give him to you, but it never happened.
Yep, when he gets old enough. But even when he was old enough, he still didn't do it. So what do you think is running through Judah's mind when Jacob says to him, you better bring my last son back. This is the last son I have by Rachel. I'm not giving him up. And notice how Judah is so compelling to this second in command of Egypt that wants to keep this brother. You will kill my father. Judah, of all people, understands exactly how that feels.
Firsthand how it felt.
Yeah, to lose your last child. He wasn't doing it. He wasn't willing to do it. So he wanted to make sure that his father wasn't going to do that either. Anyway, Abe and I,
we were
I don't even know how we came across that.
Yeah, we were just randomly talking, and it just popped in.
I'm like, how did we not figure that out the first time we talked about that?
Yes.
Oh, the movies that are in our head.
Thank God for the podcast.